This is the Hofstra Radio Alumni Audio Yearbook, and today is October 2nd, 2024. This is a very special day because we have one of the newest members of the Hofstra Radio Hall of Fame joining us to talk about anticipation of the October 19th induction. So I'm going to let him introduce himself and remind us what years you were at Hofstra Radio.
Brian, thanks for having me on again. It's so great, and it's amazing that you continue to do this podcast and connect so many people from so many generations. I am Jared Greenberg, class of 2005, and just so thrilled right now about learning that I will be inducted into the Hofstra Radio Hall of Fame, which has really been a part of the fabric of who I am. And as I've said many, many times over, I would not be where I am now without my foundation that was laid at WRHU.
Yeah, from our conversations previously, I can feel how true those words are, and it's not just, oh, this is a nice thing. This seems really great, sincere thanks on your part. So I guess my first question is, do you have any words like when you found this out that you were being inducted? What did it feel like at that moment?
I was stunned. I got a letter in the mail out of nowhere from the Alumni Relations Office that informed me of this. I had no idea that this was even a possibility. I had no idea that it was coming out this time of the year. I knew nothing of it, so it really took me by shock. Honestly, the first thing I thought about, and this from our conversations, I just thought back to Ed Ingles, who meant so much to me and passed away a couple of years ago. And I just thought about how, he shaped me, and I wish he was here for this, because Ed many times had to stand up and fight for me and fight for the sports department at WRHU. And I miss him dearly, but I thank him so much for everything, and he'll be a big part of that night on October 19th.
Absolutely. I've only ever heard good things about the man, and I'm just wondering if you don't mind going too far afield, is there something that you can remember him, standing up for you as an individual or the sports department that meant a lot to you?
Well, I mean, there's honestly too many to even go through here, but the
Yeah.
first to me was the story that I think I shared with you, that he fought for me to become, at the time, an early admission into the training program at WRHU. So I was so ready to go that I just wanted to hit the ground running, and I was pushing and pushing and pushing to find a way to get into WRHU without, going through the normal training class, which would have put me behind in the football season in the fall semester. That I proposed ideas to him, to Ed, and to Bruce Avery, and they were shot down time and time again. And then they came up with this idea, because I was only thinking about the spring training class and how I could get involved with that, which would have essentially been like, I don't know, January or February, probably February or March of my senior year of high school. And they came back to me eventually that Ed had fought for me. They were starting a summer training program, which was still, summer in college is still, at least in the Northeast where I grew up, is still the spring semester of your high school. So I was allowed to be in the training program, basically commuting after high school, a couple of days a week to drive up to Hofstra to be a part of the training program during my senior year of high school. So over the summer and immediately in the fall, I was able to partake in our football broadcast, to be a part of the radio station as a first semester true freshman, which gave me such not only an advantage, but helped me really just build that foundation that was starting at Hofstra.
We didn't talk about this in advance, but I was really hoping you would talk about that part, and you delivered. So well done there. Thank you for reading my mind. So obviously, what Ed did and what the station did for you have been very meaningful for you in your life and your career. Since you've graduated from Hofstra, since you left,
Yeah.
what has been your relationship with Hofstra Radio?
Well, I think, one of the things, and I honestly hope, I wish it could be better. But one of the things that we really emphasized while I was at school, and Ed did a great job of it, was kind of building a network and having people connect. And I don't know, especially, like, I think from a sports department standpoint, we've done a nice job of staying in touch, as a group. But
Mm,
I wish it was more formal. I wish it was more organized and structured. And I put the blame on myself. I should be doing more to initiate some of that. But I think what's been great through social media really blossoming since I've left school is the amount of students who I know nothing about, and they find me either on, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, whatever it may be, and reach out, or
mm,
somebody will give them an email or a cell phone, and I've been able to, connect with them that way. I'm not back as much on campus as I would like now that I'm been relocated to Atlanta for the last, nearly 13 years.
mm,
But just having a means to connect with kids, and this will be a message that I'll want to spread as well on the 19th, as I always have. I'm happy to, whenever, pay it forward, because so many people were so great to me about, um, going over demo tapes, talking about resumes, talking about networking, talking about, what next steps should be in your career, and how to build a path for success, which is something that, I really can never thank Hofstra enough for laying for me while I was there.
mm. Obviously, you have had a great broadcast career, and you're nationally known as a journalist, and people hear your name and go, "Oh, wow, it's very well respected and,
Oh,
and, and
thank you.
known in your industry." Um, you've accomplished a great deal, is what I'm trying to say.
Well,
Where
thank you.
does this honor rank among your career accomplishments?
Well, Brian, I've never won anything, ever. um, uh, even when I was at Hofstra, like, um, it was it's funny. It was like a bone of contention, to peel the curtain back a little bit for us in the sports department group. Like, back then, at least, and I can't speak for since I've left, but like, we never got the awards for broadcaster of the year, or whatever they handed out. I can't remember all the different ones, but I never won anything then. We
Mm,
never got recognized for the work we did there. Really, what we got was Ed telling us, and giving us the confidence that we could move on and be successful. But I it sounds cheesy, but like, one of the things that I speak to students about, and people who are younger in the industry now, is you don't get into this business and don't commit to it full throttle for Emmys or Marconis, or for any sort of praise. And you don't do it for salary, and you don't do it for fame, you don't do it for recognition. You do it because you love it. You do it because it's in your soul, right? If they cut you open, to me, broadcasting would bleed out of me.
hmm
It's something that I've been fortunate enough to have the opportunity to do since I was 14 or 15 years old, since I was a freshman in high school. And I've been so committed to it that this recognition is really, honestly, um, you know, not to sound too deep and cheesy about it, Brian, but I feel like you're Barbara Walters right now. You're going to bring this out of me. Is what has motivated me so much in my career, and this started at Hofstra, with Ed, and with all the people I worked with, was I never felt like I was the most talented. I never felt like, and still to this day, I never feel like I'm the best. What I feel like is no one is ever going to show up to work more prepared than me, and that can overcome any shortcomings or weaknesses that I may have in my execution. And for me, this is the first time that somebody outside of my family, because my mother or my wife or family members would listen to this and say, "We tell you all the time, like,
Right.
you people don't count, okay? I love you guys. You guys are great, but to hear it from an outsider, to say that what you did while you were at Hofstra, and maybe a little bit of, what I've accomplished since because of my foundation at Hofstra and WRHU has earned this type of recognition. Just it means a lot. It doesn't justify anything, because again, I don't do it for that, but
Hmm.
it feels pretty freaking good.
That's great. That's great. And yeah, I know what you're saying. Your family is supposed to say all the nice things to
Right.
you and give you encouragement, but now your Hofstra Radio family
Right.
is giving those compliments to you, and
Yeah.
they're certainly well earned and
I
deserved.
compare broadcasters sometimes to comedians. I've heard a lot of comedians speak about their insecurities
Hmm.
off stage, and how they're not necessarily who they are off stage, who they are on stage. And I think it kind of, there's a parallel there with broadcasters where, like, in New York, people will know this name, Bruce Beck, who works at
Hmm.
WNBC and has been on national NBC for a long time. He does a million and one things. He's been a great mentor to me. But one of the things that he has said for a long time, on a consistent basis, is that it's okay to be nervous, and not that I get nervous to be on air. I get nervous to not be ready to be on air.
Hmm.
And I think that, a lot of us don't necessarily have that not it's not a lacking in confidence. It's a lacking in because we don't get feedback as broadcasters, right? Like, you don't. I broadcast sports, right? I cover the NBA on a regular basis, and every night two teams are on the court. One of them will win, one of them will lose. We will know the result when the clock hits zero. We know what happens. I could feel I had an outstanding performance. I came prepared. I executed. I was, entertaining. I was passionate. I gave the viewer what I thought they needed, and my bosses could hate it, right?
Hmm.
And I could lose an assignment, or it could be vice versa, where I thought I was not that good, and my boss thinks I'm great. But the key is, most people in broadcasting know this. You never get that feedback. You don't. It's very rare to get that feedback, particularly from decision makers at networks like where I work. You just
Hmm.
don't hear it. Maybe during contract time you'll hear it. So to hear somebody say that, you've done good, it means a lot.
Hmm. Oh, that's great. Well put. So the big ceremony, the big induction ceremony is happening on October 19th, and there'll be a lot of Hofstra Radio alumni and other inductees there. What are you most looking forward to on that Saturday afternoon?
I think just getting back on campus. It's been a while since I've been
Mm,
there. I think, congratulating all the other inductees, and I guess, as a coincidence, there's kind of some overlap with some of the others, um, like Sean Novat and Danielle DeLillo. They were
mhm,
just older than me. They were going out as I was coming in. Shannon Ferry was coming in as I was going out, and I've watched their careers, and it's really cool, because, and most of this conveys itself through talking about sports, but I'm constantly bragging about Hofstra as I travel the country for my duties with TNT, and I'm trying to weave Hofstra into the conversation somehow. Um, but it's really cool to get back and see just how great it is, and I've always felt like WRHU was the diamond in the rough at Hofstra. There's so many great things about the school, and for me, the athletic department and the radio station were the two biggest things that I had there, and to see them garner recognition, to me, kind of validates, not for me, but to other people, to show people that, hey, look at what this place is.
mm,
Look how, if you want to have a career in my case, in sports broadcasting, there are other options. It's Syracuse is not the end all be all. It's not just Fordham or Seton Hall or Northwestern or Arizona. There Arizona State. There's other places to go, and I truly firmly believe this. If you make the most of your opportunity at Hofstra, it is the best place in the country, because of how unique it is, and a lot of that has to do with the geography.
mhm.
And I feel like this gives the opportunity for me to get back there and say, yeah, you know what? I've been right the whole time about this place. I knew how great this place is.
I think it says a great deal about you and your perspective on your career that I asked what you were looking most forward to about the Hall of Fame induction. You mentioned Sean and Danielle and Shannon, the athletic department, and the radio station.
Yeah.
It gives me a sense that you really, how much this means to you, and not just the honor, but the community and the station and the university. And I think that's really telling about you as a person. So thank you for sharing that.
I appreciate that. I,
I don't want to steal too much of your thunder because I know you'll get a chance to speak on the 19th, but are there any people you mentioned Ed Ingles, and
yeah.
obviously, what a mentor, what a person, but are there any people you'd like to thank or acknowledge at this time?
Well, first of all, I think, I hope nobody's playing a drinking game on the 19th when I mention Ed, because they will be drunk with the amount of shots they will take every time I mention Ed. So he is first and foremost. And obviously, with Bruce's passing, Bruce and I had a rocky relationship for a long time. It ended up being very good. And we came to understand each other. And it's very sad that he will not be there. He meant so much to the station. He created such a structure, which I think is lacking in so many places in this industry. I've worked, since being out of school now nearly 20 years. I've worked at so many different professional places, big places, and they don't have the structure and the standard operating procedure that WRHU has, which says a lot for a college radio station. And I always felt like when I was there, people would use the wrong terms to describe college radio, in particular WRHU. It wasn't a non-professional radio station, right? It was a non-commercial radio station. There were plenty of professionals that worked there and plenty of future professionals. But that place, while I was there, and what I have seen since I have left, operates as professional, if not more, than so many radio and TV stations that I have been aligned with over the years. So that credit goes to Bruce, no question, for establishing a lot of that during my era while I was there. Obviously, what John has done, John Mullen, carrying the torch, has been sensational. And I just, for me, the Radio Alumni Association, I think, has really, I've seen it become more active over the last several years. I've been more just aware of it on social media, and I think I think we have the potential to do a lot with that. But I think the people who have volunteered their time, like you, Brian, by making people aware of the history of this place, by putting out these incredible podcasts, these great conversations, I think we owe a lot to people who have dedicated their time to that. And I think my big message, I haven't nailed down anything, but I think my big message on the 19th will be to any current students who are there, about how you have the opportunity to just be here, to just be in this seat, is a leg up on what is a very competitive field. And I think I think that students, no matter how young you are, no matter where you want to go with this, have to recognize that even in this world where it seems almost impossible out of college to get a job, and I've seen it with my nieces and nephews, that being here in this place because you put yourself here and you've taken the bull by the horns to be a part of the radio station, to do other things outside of your normal classwork, to graduate and to move on, you've put yourself in a great position, and you have an opportunity to have great success because you're here. And I think that's going to be my big message, because there's so many people to thank, but I think sometimes we lose track of really putting the onus on the students to put their future in their own hands.
Yeah, and it's like you said, it's what Ed and Bruce and John have set up. as a launching pad. It's just such a wonderful opportunity, and you're a great example
Thank you.
of what can happen with some hard work and some connections, and I'm honored to have this conversation with you. I really appreciate you taking the time, and offer my congratulations now, and I'll see you on the 19th. Thank you so much for doing this, and congratulations.
I can't wait to shake your hand in person, Brian. It's been an honor to be on this podcast. It's an absolute honor to be a part of this Hall of Fame. Hofstra was going to be a part of me for my life, regardless whether I was in the Hall of Fame for the Hofstra Radio or not. But now to have this is the ultimate honor. Um, it's the place where I really got my feet wet, and I'm really excited about getting back on campus and reliving some memories and showing my family members some of my old stomping grounds.